Hello everyone and welcome to my Polish cuisine. Today I am making the oatmeal cookies, and this is a version modified from the original version. So what we're going to need is 3 cups of oats, about 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, 4 tablespoons of sweet butter, half a cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Then we're gonna need 1½ cup of sifted all-purpose flour. I have here 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. Here I have my cinnamon, and that's 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. About a ½ teaspoon of salt. 1/4 cup of dried mixed berries. In this case, I have mixed cranberries, cherries, and blueberries. And ½ cup of raisins. So let's get started. So we're gonna need a large bowl to mix this with, and then a spatula, also a baking sheet with parchment paper lined, and then also the scoopers. Here I have a large one and a smaller one, so whichever you prefer. I like my cookies for breakfast, so I usually use the bigger scoop and have that with coffee, and that just fills me up, and until lunch I am all good. First things first, so let's melt our butter in the microwave. So we're gonna add to the large mixing bowl, we're gonna add the oil and the butter, and then we're gonna add our sugars. I'll put in my white sugar in first. To that, add the brown sugar and mix this all very well. Now let's add the eggs in. And the salt. And the cinnamon. And let's mix all that. Now let's add the vanilla sugar and the baking powder. And mix this all well. And now we can start adding the flour, just little by little. And stir. Let's add a little bit more flour and stir all again. Now the batter is getting thicker, so it's a little bit more difficult to stir. Ready for the rest of the flour, and mix it all well. The batter is mixed well, so I'm gonna add the oats and just slowly incorporate those in and mix again. And the reason we use oil instead of the butter is because butter is considered a saturated fat, and all saturated fats have a tendency not to melt in the room temperature. So any grease that you use, if it is in a room temperature, it should be a liquid consistency. Otherwise, we get arteries, plaque on the arteries, and this sort of a thing. So we want to avoid butters and all those lards by all means. So I'm gonna add to this some more oats. And to this I'm gonna add more oats and mix all again. And now I'm adding the remainder of the oats. And we'll mix that all through. And the final step is to add your berries, of course your raisins, and the chocolate chips, and mix it all well. If it becomes too hard, then just use your hand. So now my batter is done, and I'm getting my hands wet because I prefer to use my hands rather than the scoopers. For this, just make little balls and place them on a parchment paper, and make sure your oven is preheated to 350, and we're gonna bake these around 10 to 15 minutes. When the edges are golden brown, then we will of course take those out. And you also want to flatten the tops a little bit. So when you have the rounded balls, you can just press them down a little bit, like so. So as you can tell, the cookies are in the oven right now, and let's give it about 15 minutes, and then we'll check on them. As you can tell, the cookies are almost done. Once you depress on them, you can tell that they're done inside. So I'm gonna take those out now. So we'll let these cool off a bit and then transfer them to a plate. Once you're able to remove them, move them from the parchment paper, then it's okay. Let them cool about 10 minutes. The cookies are now baked, and this recipe makes about 24 cookies, so mines are bigger, and I still have some more in the oven, and they are baked, as you can tell, not over baked. So if you like this recipe, please hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.